Welcome guys, I'm not kidding when I say this position is one of the hardest puzzles you've never seen. Now here it's white to move and I claim that he can win. Now this looks relatively doable, I mean we have a queen, the black king is kinda stuck here in the corner, how hard can this be? The problem with this position is that initially it looks pretty easy, but then as you start analyzing it kinda starts to become an annoying task. Then it just becomes outright impossible. As you can see, the engine even says it's a draw. Like what? So yeah, please do yourself a favor, pause the video and try to figure things out. Okay, so like I said, even though we have a queen and the king is stuck here, it isn't that easy because there's always this looming threat of rook to b1 winning our queen, and also this g2 is super annoying because this would trap our queen, and in some lines maybe black can even promote. So we have to be extremely careful. Now some people said queen f1 here would just be checkmate, right? However, not really, because the pawn can just push forward. Now black is even threatening to promote, threatening to win our queen. So people said queen to d3. This also looks like checkmate, but again black can either block with the pawn or with the bishop, and this even hurts more because this comes with a check, the king is forced to move and then black just promotes and we're in some deep trouble. So instead, we definitely have to find another idea. And since our queen is getting trapped here, perhaps we can try to be clever and sneak our queen out, and then after g2 the queen is no longer trapped here on h1. And also if g2 is played, now he opens this line and we can fuck the king and the rook, and maybe this is good, so let's take a look. After black plays g2, sure, we can play queen to c3. This is an apparent fork. However, like before, the bishop comes, it gives a check. The king cannot really stop the pawn, so it has to move either to d2 or e2, not d1 because this would come with a check. However, both d2 and e2 are critical dead squares for white. If the king goes to e2, rook to e4 comes and we don't have time to capture the rook, and then a new queen is coming and we just lost the game. And if king to d2, this seems like, okay, now the queen stops both squares, the rook cannot really give a check, but now black promotes anyways because the rook is untouchable because of a skewer here, either with the bishop or the queen. So all of these ideas of bringing the queen out, say to c6 or a8 or d5, I showed c6, but they all suffer the same fate. So instead we need to consider another idea, and since we cannot really move the queen, the only other logical option to avoid rook b1 from coming and losing us the game is to just move the king, right? King d2, perfect logical move. You know, rook b1 no longer comes with check, we don't lose the game. This also comes with ideas of maybe bishop c6, queen to g2, this would just literally finish with checkmate, so this seems like a great move. This also frees up the queen. Now the queen is no longer trapped in just these three squares. So, did you just find the solution? Well, let's see, because black still has g2. This is still a very important resource for black, so we need to consider it. And now since the queen is no longer trapped, maybe we can play queen to e1 and, you know, just threaten some menacing stuff. But let's see if these are really menacing threats or not. So black tries to promote, we can try giving a check, the king is forced to g2, we can give a check here with the bishop to c6. It looks like things are going well. However, black can bring the rook, and now we don't really have a satisfactory attack because, okay, we can take, black retakes, we can take this pawn, but the king simply hides and yeah, the position is just drawn. We can take this pawn, but black simply blocks with the queen, it gives a check, and yeah, this is just a draw. So sadly, this idea of moving the king out of the way, well, it secures a draw, but it's still a draw. We're looking for a win, so this is still not the right move. And instead, well, there must be a crazy idea hidden, right? We looked at all the possibilities that allow us to keep the queen on the board. So, well, this leads us to the solution. We're looking for a ridiculous queen sacrifice. And this comes together with the idea I was talking about earlier of eventually playing bishop c6 and trying to go for checkmate here, right? We looked at a position where we played king d2, we were threatening this. However, we were just too slow because g2 came and yeah, we weren't in time. So what if we were crazy and we decided to play a bishop to c6? And I mean, this looks insane. We're stepping directly into rook b1 and losing the queen. And if black doesn't do anything, say plays rook b2 and doesn't lead with this, well, simply bishop g2, and the black king literally doesn't have anywhere to go, so rook has to capture, and now we can simply give a check here. And yeah, the game is just over, so black is literally forced to play rook b1, and I'll just take the queen and simply play g2 and win the game, right? Let's see, because now the idea is that white is able to play king e2. King e2. And why is not the engine not giving a clear win for black? Well, let's see. Now black takes the rook and the engine finally sees it. Now, if you want, you can pause the video again and look for this crazy idea. In fact, this position is now forced checkmate, as white has this extremely ridiculous move. Bishop not captures rook, bishop g2. And he has given not only the queen but also the bishop. And this is checkmate in 3. Because after the king takes, he's literally forced to take, right? All of the squares are taken, or he's blocked by his own pieces. So the king has to take, but now knight comes to f4. This is a check, takes away the very important h3 square. All the squares were taken by the king. King is forced down, but now king to e1. King to e1, and take a look at this. These pawns can't move, the bishop can't move, the rook can't move. The king can't move because of the knight and the white king. So the only way will move in the position is g2. But now everyone sees what's coming. The king takes away the squares. This square has been entombed by the black pawn. So knight e2 comes. This is checkmate. This is checkmate. Are you kidding me? How did we start in a position with the queen, with a rook, a knight, a bishop, and we end in a position where there's a Zugzwang here, and we have a smothered mate. Like, I have no words. Chess is literally insane. And yeah, this puzzle. If this puzzle isn't hard, I don't know. You're like the next Magnus Carlsen or something. Hope you enjoyed. The only possible way to arrive at this bishop c6 is, well, exhausting all the other possibilities, and I hope I made a decent enough logical continuation to try and arrive at bishop c6. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and catch you in the next one. Bye.